Okay, yeah, here's some individual players that I get the pleasure of talking about. Some guys that I really worked with individually. My main focus as a coach this year was working with our catchers and our outfielders. So we'll start with a few underclassmen and work our way up to some seniors that were part of our program. The first guy that I'm going to talk about is Balman, who's a first-year letterman, and Austin had a great season. He was our starting catcher throughout this season, and what a backstop that he was. You know, he has the nickname Bulldog because of his mentality and his toughness behind the plate there. And he did a great job controlling our pitching staff and being someone that would block up baseballs, and his arm strength was pretty good. It got even better as the season went on, but defensively, you know, that's the main focus as a catcher, and he did a great job there and was a wall and a guy that plenty of our pitchers could rely on. He's an incredibly hard worker on and off the field. You know, anything that we ask of him when we're doing our catching drills, you know, he's right there leading the charge, speaking positively and doing a great job. One of the games that really stood out to me was our doubleheader against MP. That second game, he got the start. And he ended up getting 4 RBIs that game where he had a big double in the gap and did a great job for us. We talk about your average, probably wasn't what you wanted, but there was just a ton of good at bats and just being competitive and fighting off pitches and fouling them off and really getting those pitch counts up. It was a tremendous job. And, another thing about Austin is he just lives in the weight room and he does a great job with that. You see how physical he is, and just keep doing that. Your future's bright, Austin, and can't thank you enough for what you gave back to Snohomish baseball this year. The second guy is another first-year letterman, Nicholas Sakamoto. Hey, Nick, you had a tremendous year, man. You were a first-team all-league player as an outfielder. Once again, you're a first-year letterman, but a guy that's been on our radar since you were a freshman because you provide a tremendous amount of attributes that are successful to players who succeed in this game. And your speed is the first thing that comes up as you're a 6'7", 6'8", 60-yard dash guy, and you just wreak havoc on the base pass. And you can see that from your stats you had 16 stolen bases this year, and you just fly around the base pass, and you play with your hair on fire is a description I use for players who just, show a tremendous amount of effort when they play the game. And Nick, you do that top notch, and it's just amazing to see. And you're fun to work with. You're very coachable, and you want to get better frequently. You hit 358 on the season. You scored 19 runs, which led our team. And once again, you had 16 stolen bases. You had a couple doubles, and I think a triple there throughout the year. And you're really up at the top of the lineup, ended up being our leadoff guy. And I think that's really where you're going to stick to in your future. Once again, in the outfield, it's a place where balls just don't land. You're out there and you're catching balls that maybe you're stealing from the left fielder or right fielder out there, and you got a pretty dang good arm as well. So it's not just your speed that plays a factor out there, but your instincts defensively. It's just great to see. Once again, we have some things that our players vote on, and one of the things that the players voted on for you is that you will be a captain next year for our 2023 team. So congratulations on that. And Nick, can't thank you enough. You had a great season, and you provided a lot of energy for our team this year. So the next guy is a second-year letterman, Braden Craig. So Braden Craig, you had a phenomenal year. Really got your first opportunity to be a full-time starter up on varsity, and it was great to see. You've always reached out to me about, what can I do, coach, to improve my skills? What can I do to become a varsity player? What can you add here? Can you give me any drills? And you've always been tremendously coachable. And one of the things that I really want to thank you for is you worked really hard while you waited. A lot of guys wait for the door to be open to start their tremendous work ethic. While the door was closed for you, you put in a lot of work to improve yourself. I think we always talked about defensively improving ourselves there, and you did a great job. One of the games that sticks out to me is, Jackson at the start of the year. You had a couple clutch hits. You stole a couple bases, and I think the biggest situation in that game was there was a fly ball behind the first baseman and second baseman. I think Kale and Dylan were going back for it, but you came in last minute and took that fly ball away. And we always tell our outfielders it's a much easier play, you coming in, than the infielders going back. That was a huge defensive play. You also had another incredible play against Archbishop where you robbed a home run. But can't thank you enough. You had a huge double again against Cascade. You had 8 stolen bases. You hit around 260 for us. And your communication, like I said before, was great. One of the things also is we have awards. You were voted on by teammates as our most improved player this year, as they saw a tremendous amount of growth from you in terms of seasons past. So Braden, congratulations, going on to play at Columbia Basin, and your future's bright, man. Keep up the hard work. The next guy is a 4-year letterman. He's been a backstop for us for quite some time, but Josh Macaba. Josh is a guy that once again, just provides a tremendous work ethic in our program, and he leads from the front, and he does a great job. You know, being a captain of our team, and ultimately not being in maybe the role that he wanted this year. You know, that didn't faze him in terms of himself getting better as a player. You know, anything that I asked of him, worked a lot with him individually as a catcher and as a hitter this year. And you just kept working and working and working to improve yourself. And I think you ultimately took our starting catching position at the end of the year as you showed a lot of growth and a lot of improvement. And I think you know, it speaks to senior night where you came out there and had a huge double in the gap that got us going to push across that winning run against Monroe. So, once again, you once again talking about your situation, you know, your situation that it wasn't best, but you kept working, you know, and I thought that leadership that you showed throughout that time made an impact on the rest of our team, and especially some of our young guys on JV. They saw just what you did on a daily basis, and they want to be like you. So one of the awards that you got from teammates was the Charlie Poyer Hustle Award. Charlie Poyer was a coach in our program for a number of years. He's actually the guy that developed the 9-man base running drill that we do at the start of our practices. But I think just the way you approach practice and games, you know, talking about you being our bullpen catcher for some part of the year. I mean, I think that translated to a lot of our success as a pitching. You deserve a lot of credit for that as you got guys warmed up and prepared for their game. So Josh, can't thank you enough. Heading off to Wazoo to walk on. Good luck with that, and keep working, man. Good work. The next guy's a 2nd-year letterman. Been part of, you know, Snohomish baseball. I've seen him around for quite some time, but Chaz Unruh. Can't thank Chaz enough for his commitment this year. Once again, a guy that was in, you know, a tough role, but once again was a guy in our dugout that provided a lot of joy, provided a lot of positivity, and really gave back to our teammates and pushed some of the young guys to be better. Put him out in a couple of tough situations this year as a pitcher, as he pitched against Arlington. He had a tough matchup against Monroe, but he came out there and showed some grit, showed some toughness, got an opportunity senior day to be the leadoff hitter and got on base and really got our first run across, you know, that game. So that was a tremendous at bat. You know, once again, he performs in the classroom, does a great job in our community. He's a guy that a lot of guys can look up to, and, you know, a guy that's going to go do something in engineering or computer science. So Chaz, can't thank you enough. You gave a lot to Snohomish baseball, and very proud of you, man. This next guy is a 3rd-year letterman, Braden Wallace. Can't thank Braden enough for what he gave to Snohomish baseball. Another guy that was in a tough situation, you know, being a senior, but didn't faze him. Came to work every day, wanted to get better. Always was asking questions of Coach West or myself on ways to improve as a pitcher. You know, came out and threw a couple huge innings against Glacier Peak. You know, pretty cool to see your senior year coming out, you know, throwing 2 innings, only giving up 1 run and leading ourselves to a big win against our rival up on the hill. So once again, you know, just like the Monroe game with Chaz, you got an opportunity to get an at-bat that game and got on base and really got our momentum going to get that first run across. And, you know, your family's been a big part of our program as your brother Colby played for us, and you continued that tradition with the Wallaces. And Colby, you know, you're a great kid, and I'm proud of you. And once again, you know, I didn't have to worry about anything off the field with you as you brought it every day. You performed in the classroom, and you're a great citizen in our community. So thank you, Braden. The last guy, one guy that's a 2nd-year letterman, and once again got a big role on varsity this year, and really was a leader, you know, in our program. He's one of our captains and a guy that a ton of kids could look up to, not just because of his baseball skills, but because of what he does in the classroom and what he does in our program. And Andrew Winningham, you're a tremendous individual, and I can't thank you enough for what you gave to Snohomish baseball. You're a guy I could always reach out to get back to me about captain's practices before the season. You're a guy that always spread great leadership in our program, and a guy a ton of kids could look up to. You know, you had an outstanding year where you hit 306. You had 18 runs. You had 11 stolen bases. You hit right in the middle of our order. You provided a lot of pop in our lineup, and you created a lot of big innings for us as a program. Defensively, you're outstanding. You know, you even got a chance to steal a ball from Nick during that Everett game. That was pretty cool to see. But just the communication, the way you carried yourself, the routes that you took in the outfield, the approach you had at the plate, you know, you're talking about breaking our QAB record. You're right there, I think, 2nd or 3rd with QAB percentage on our team. Just a ton of great competitive at bats that we love to see. One of the awards you got voted on was the Brett Ellis Coaches Award that were voted on for your teammates. You're the winner of that. Brett Ellis was a guy in our program that ultimately died of cancer a few years after he was in high school. He played for my father, and once again, a guy that did everything right, not just on the field but off it. Was excelled in the classroom, excelled as a citizen, excelled as a baseball player, and you embodied that, Andrew, in our program, and it's an award well deserved. So great job on this year, Andrew. Really proud of you. I know you got a bright future ahead.